No, I don't think we have to suffer. You see, for what it's worth, I have a view that we are experiencing a fake reality, a false reality, thus a fake version of how this life, this what you call evolution experience should be. Thus, I would suggest that the suffering is part of that illusion which has systematically suppressed our ability to expand our consciousness to that level of perception where suffering's not necessary. See, if you expand your consciousness and you access a vastly greater area of knowledge, of understanding, of love, of wisdom, of intuitive knowing, then you clearly are going to live your life and interact with other expressions of the infinite in a very different way to if you are systematically manipulated into basically filtering everything through the five senses, which sees everything as apart from everything else and absolutely desperately sees everything in terms of limitation and thus scarcity. Once you see things in terms of scarcity, you have to see then, or you overwhelmingly see, I have to grab more of that scarcity than someone else,
right?
And I have to have, so you do not have, and all these perceptions of dog eat dog and fighting and competing with each other comes from your perception of reality and your perception of your situation. And, of course, the religions, which I say have been created to control us, I see religion as the greatest form of mind control ever invented, and certainly perception suppression, that they have underpinned this salvation through friggin' suffering. It's not, it's an illusion, it's a trap, it's to let us accept our suffering. What do they say all the time? Suffer now, whether it's economic austerity now, and then it'll be better in the future. Suffer now, and it will be better in the future. But we're always suffering in the flipping now, and when the future comes, we suffer in another flipping now. And therefore, I say that all this idea that we must suffer to somehow progress is a nonsense and a fundamental part of the entrapment. And I see this transformation, which I've been talking about for over 20 years now. I have no problem, absolutely, the last person in the world, with the fact that there is an energetic, i.e. information, consciousness change going on. And those who are more open in terms of their mind are going to be touched by it first. They have been. But now I'm seeing people who were at one point, much more concrete-minded, much more closed-minded, who are now being touched by it, and they're opening to concepts about reality, self, and world events that they never would. They would have dismissed them by reflex action before. So I have no problem with the fact that this is happening. But as I explained in this new book, Remember Who You Are, people will disagree with me on that. So, well, it's just a view. But I say that we are not seeing a kind of natural point of expansion of consciousness, in the sense that, now we're going through this new cycle and we have expanded consciousness. I don't see it like that. I see what's happening as a multi-dimensional challenge to the hijack, to the hack, which is bringing about this vibrational, energetic information change that is starting to challenge the control system of limitation and suppression and little me and fake self-identities and all the rest of it. And that's what's actually happening. And so when you are running the control system, and if I knew 22 years ago that this was coming, and other people knew that this vibrational change was coming, then sure as heck the control system knew. And I would suggest that what we're seeing now is not a coincidence, in the sense of quite demonstrably I went all around the world last year. It's happening everywhere, in affecting all different sections of society, ages, income brackets, the lot. This awakening is real.
Yes.
And at the same time this is happening, Chipper, we are seeing the control system throwing everything at us in terms of suppression, surveillance, destabilizing us mentally, emotionally, and what we call physically through food additives and radiation and all the other stuff. That's happening at the same time as this awakening. I would suggest that's no coincidence. This is the control system seeking to hold on to its power at a time when that power is being fundamentally challenged by the awakening awareness of increasingly vast numbers of humanity. So in this cusp that we're in now, where what I call the irresistible force, the awakening, is coming face to face with what thinks it's the immovable object but isn't, the control system. It's a time of tremendous upheaval, challenge, change, events, pleasant and not so pleasant. And I would say that that's what's happening now.